Hi there, Colleen Adrian here. So as your teen gets a little bit older and they're approaching adulthood, sometimes there can be conflict around them feeling like you're telling them what to do and you feeling like you want them to either pick up after themselves or contribute around the household. And sometimes that can cause more conflict than usual because they're getting closer to adulthood and they're really resisting being told what to do. In my experience, that happens a little bit more as they're approaching kind of around 15 and sort of onward, but I think it can happen at almost any age. But especially as they get older and they're transitioning towards adulthood, one of the things that I found most helpful to reduce conflict and to really build kind of a new relationship, kind of transition to a new, more adult relationship instead of a parent-child or parent-teenager relationship, is to actually shine a little bit of light on what's happening in the relationship as you transition and work with them collaboratively towards talking about what that might look like, okay? So that might sound a little bit like this. I'm noticing that I'm noticing some resistance or a little bit of irritation or whatever you're seeing come up when I ask you to take out the garbage. And I totally understand that as you're approaching adulthood, it doesn't always feel very nice to feel like, your mother or a mother figure sort of telling you what to do, right? So, and, you can just kind of lay it out. Like, first of all, I know that we've already taught you that you have some responsibility to pitch in around the home, right? And that's going to happen even when you move out on your own. It doesn't matter whether you live by yourself or whether you live with a roommate or a partner. You're always going to be responsible for pitching in around the house. And I think I understand that you know that, and maybe you're not resisting that in particular. It's just this dynamic between us that needs to shift because you're no longer a young child. And as you're separating, it doesn't feel very good to be told what to do. Excuse me. I know that it's been helpful in my relationship with my son to actually name that I don't even actually want to tell you what to do anymore, right? I just don't want to be saddled with all of the household chores by myself, right? So how can we manage this relationship differently as we transition to both being adults living in the same household still, right? So I think that's the foundation for a conversation that you can start to shift the dynamic and to maintain some connection and some respectfulness in your relationship. I have, in those types of conversations over the years, I've added in various aspects. For instance, and you would tailor this, of course, to something that feels appropriate and true for you. But one of the things that I've added in, for instance, is, we all know that we feel better. I certainly feel better when there's some order in the house, and when there's some beauty in the house, and when there's some harmony. And so there's reasons that we do this because we all feel better, right? So how can we make that happen? Which pieces do you want to do? Often it turns out that, the mom or whoever has been the primary homemaker in the family is more aware of what needs to be done. So how can we communicate those? Do you want a list of what needs to be done for the day or for the week? Do you want to be able to choose? Like, how can we have those communications in a way that doesn't feel like you need to push back, right? Like, how can you grow into being the adult in this relationship? And how can I shift to communicating to you as more of an adult than as opposed to, telling my child what to do kind of thing, or even asking my child to do something. And I'll just add one more time, I've already sort of mentioned this briefly, it really, really helps, I think, to remind them that your interest isn't only in telling them what to do, it's in noticing what needs to be done and helping them to learn to pitch in with a skill that's always going to be something that they need to do. So for instance, regardless of whether they're going to school or whether they have a job or whether they're doing both, figuring out their own time management in a way that they're able to also pitch in and do their share around the house is going to be a skill that they're going to need forever, right? And so framing it in that context can help to dissipate some of the tension that might otherwise arise from it sounding like you're just simply trying to tell them what to do, right? So I hope that's helpful. Thanks for listening.